Yeah, so my name is Adebayo Chris Katiiti. My pronouns are he, him, they, them, wamisebo. And yeah, this topic was very sensitive, very sensitive. I had to be here with another person for support, but unfortunately, the time doesn't allow them to because they're not here. They're not in Canada. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about police brutality, police violence, and working towards reparation. Okay, so I've approached it this way. So in regards, you get the awareness about police brutality, what that is. I'll share my story in regards to police brutality. I'll also share my community story, and then a simple journey to reparation. About me, I'm a community leader, I'm a musician, a life coach. Also recently was honored to receive Honorable Sao Maraki Award for leadership in pluralism and reconciliation. I'm an athlete, I'm a community builder and also a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker. I do different presentation, different talks and trainings. Yes. So, can you hear? Um, yes. So, yeah, what I'm going to talk about, some information I'm going to share. This is just the emotional content to you. Some information I'm going to share, including some videos, might be activating. I ask that you listen attentively to your body and inner self and take care of yourself. I want to be taking questions at the end of the presentation because of how heavy the presentation is. Please bear with me. This is my past acknowledgement. I acknowledge that I'm a Black trans disowned prince, sharing my lived experience with everybody with respect to the lands of First Nation people, whose stories and healing practices have existed since time immemorial. This is not just a presentation for me. It is a way for me to share what I have personally experienced at the hands of police and the results, police brutality that has led to the displacement of many people, including myself. Above all, it is also a way for me to tell my story and the stories of my ancestors that deserve to be heard, as some of them were not given the opportunity to share their stories due to the efforts of colonizers to erase them all. All right, let's sink in a little bit. What is police brutality? You know, it refers to the violence from police, use of excessive force, unlawful arrest and killings, torture, racial bias, beating, and other violence, various violation of human rights. You might have another definition of police brutality, but I hope it differs from mine. I hope it relates to what I shared. Police brutality is a very big part of corruption in the justice and criminal system. Many people refrain from discussing or even acknowledge that police brutality exists. They are in denial. The topics make many people uncomfortable because they do not want to believe that the same institution, the same police officers who are supposed to protect and serve them could be capable of willfully and intentionally hurt and harm us. Sometimes based on our gender identity, sometimes based on our race, sometimes based on our mental illness or health. I'm gonna open, continue inviting you in, like, how you feel, check in with yourself constantly. The information I'm sharing is heavy. So please check in, keep checking in with yourself. Dominant cultures tell, this was from the Skin We Are In, Desmond Call. This dominant culture tells Black folks that we are not only bringing this pain upon ourselves, but that we are so irresponsible we blame our suffering on someone else, jealously learning on white people. I hope some of you relate. I hope some of Black people, racialized folks, relate to this call. Most of the time they say we bring the mental health to ourselves. We bring the pain to ourselves, hunger to ourselves, forgetting the activities or things that has led to that inclusive of police brutalities, long-lasting psychological harm to our communities. This is an just opening up to invite you, is police brutality a human right issue? Just help me, let us just engage with this specific question and help me type in the chat, add in the chat, is police brutality a human right issue? Do you believe it is a human right issue? Especially where a declaration of, 7th Declaration of Human Rights. Is police brutality a human right issue? If so, what have you done, to address it, to speak up against it? What ways have you contributed to those, who continuously face police brutality, police violence, by staying silent? Just reflection for you. Many members of the community do trust police. Yeah, we have many community members that have trust in police. And also we have many community members that do not trust police. They don't. And that includes me, myself. I do not trust police, I'll be honest. So I'm on this side. I'm going to be sharing my story, about how I came to Canada and my interaction with the topic that we are presenting. But before I go into that, I would like to share a quote of Martin Luther King. He said, "I speak now because I agree with Dante that the hottest place in hell are reserved for those that in time of moral crisis maintain their neutrality." My story coming to Canada and seeking protection after facing police brutality in my own country based on my gender identity. This is a 4-minute video. It's happening. Despite the country being so homophobic, gay people exist in Uganda, and there are a lot of them. Trans people exist in Uganda, and there are many of them. So we used to organize our events, but we organize it secretly, not publicly. We had our own different slangs that we use in public for our safety. Like if I come here and say, hey, are you coming to church? Are you coming to church? Right? If you're not queer, you will not know what we're talking about. You'll be like, oh, they're just going to church. So we organized that event, Mr. Gay Pride in Uganda, which happened in 2015. And it was massive. It was beautiful. Culture, I can take you there. Culture, everyone is so happy. Everyone is wearing their culture, wearing whatever they feel like. Everyone is in their own bodies at the time. But then in 2016, when I had to give out my crown as Mr. Gay Pride, the police raided the event, and we don't know who sneaked and told security and authorities about our event, but they raided the event August 2016. I can't forget the day how police came in and just arrested, better everybody. The trans women, they pulled out hair into trans women's head. They could just beat you with the guns, with batons. They beat you anywhere they want. And at that time, I was on the stage when they came in. There were some Europeans, white people at the event, capturing the event, the way they were treated. They were literally, harassed. Now, the sad part of that date where we had the event, it was only one exit, one entrance. And it was on the top floor. That was the sixth floor of the building. So when they came, we had nowhere to run to or to hide, except the toilets or whatever, and they came fetching everybody. They came, pulled everybody out. They bought, deployed so many of them and just pushed everybody in the corner. So everyone was sitting in the corner. You're not allowed to stand up. You're not allowed to move, not even speaking. You speak, they beat you just on the head, just like that. It was brutal. That night was brutal. I witnessed a gay guy who was trying to run away, jumping from the sixth floor of the building to the bottom, trying to save his life that night. I was personally arrested with other activists. They took us to the police cell, but locked us up. Before locking us up, they undressed us, said to find if we were male or female, and then put you in a cell they actually want. So the process of them undressing us to check if we are men or women, it didn't matter because they could just throw you where they want you to be thrown and ask people who are there to do whatever they want to do to you. I can't tell how that impacted my entire life. I was treated, how I was harassed, violated in my own damn country. In my own damn country. And that changed my life. Yeah, just taking a moment right there. Just um, feel free to, take a deep breath in and out. Yeah. Yes, so that takes me to the court of, again, Desmond Court, the skin we are in. White supremacy encourages the people it benefits to create their own parallel universe, their own set of fact and explanation about the existence and prevalence of racism. So in this, I relate, as you're going to see, because I'm going to share my story again of how police, my interaction with police, that they create their own narrative, so, and their own set of facts. So this is scenario one, April 20th, April 2020, 18th. I was unlawfully arrested, harassed, and handcuffed by Edmonton police at home after the neighbor calling police. This doesn't have audio, but you can see the pictures. So that happened right here in Edmonton, from Edmonton Police, Edmonton Police Service. When they came in and just arrested. And as you witnessed the video. Scenario
You're gonna get hurt as long as you don't do anything that's against what we're asking you to do. Okay? Does that make sense?
Otherwise, I'll get hurt.
You may get hurt. You don't follow direction. Yeah.
Cell phone video from Adebayo, Katiiti. A black Edmonton man shows him attempting to break into his own car Sunday afternoon when cops showed up and detained him.
You're pulling me, and this one is running my car. This one is pointing in my car. Oh my God, my phone is being taken away.
Katiiti believes he was racially profiled by Edmonton police.
And I know it's because I'm a black person, because of the color of my skin.
Katiiti forgot his keys inside the ignition and then accidentally locked himself out. He was taking Facebook videos throughout all his failed attempts to gain access into his car. At one moment, a woman slows down her car to watch him.
It's my car. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah.
But that didn't seem to matter. Moments later, 3 police officers show up demanding ID from Katiiti.
Oh my God. Right here.
Okay, he's got a cell phone. Right on. Go on, sir. Is this your card?
He says he was detained for about 30 minutes and told
I fit the description of a Chris who break into cars.
the entire time Katiiti was thinking,
If I'm the next Georgia Floyd, you know, if I'm the next Breonna Taylor, if I'm the next black person to be killed.
EBS confirms Katiiti's detention. Officers received a report of a man breaking into a vehicle with a wire hanger, despite being asked several times for identification and proof the vehicle was his. The male refused to follow direction and became confrontational, adding when he reached for his fanny pack, he was detained. Officers later found out Katiiti was indeed the registered owner.
I was actually seen as a criminal who was breaking into his car in broad daylight.
This incident unfolding as the murder trial for George Floyd begins Monday. Floyd was an unarmed black man killed by a Minneapolis police officer. Katiiti will never forget how Floyd died. It's one of the many reasons he decided to document his actions through video that day.
I don't feel safe right now. Like, I don't know where is safe for people like me, for a black trans person.
In Edmonton, Rochelle Sufi, City News.
Yeah, so this happened 2021 on Trans Day of Visibility. On Trans Day of Visibility, the police did release a statement about this, but like I said, you refer to the Desmond Call to that they create their own universe and their own stories and set of facts. But yet there is still reality of video evidence of the actions that they've done. Yes, that was my car. That is here, right here, Edmonton Police Service. Here. I want to, as well as you have heard that there is a scenario free from the police experience here in Edmonton. May 2020, I was driving with a GDL license to go to attend to an emergency response for a trans individual who was in a mental health crisis. I was pulled over by police and they explained to me why they pulled me over. They said I can't be driving by myself. I had to have a full person with me with full class 5 license. They explained to me and I told them that I don't drive the vehicle by myself, but I was attending to an emergency crisis that forced me to really risk and drive that vehicle. The police officer took my ID, asked me for my ID. I provided it, and I gave it to him. He then told me, you know, let us escort you. You're going to drive. We're going to drive by you, escort you until the location, the destination you have to go to help your people, to help your community, to help your friend. The officers escorted me, drove behind me until the location. They then told me, you know what, you can't drive it until in the morning when someone with, you know, class 5 is with you. But take care of your friend. And they left. You know why I'm sharing that? Because they led with compassion. You know, I was in wrong that time. They led with compassion. Days where I'm in my home, I was in my house, you know, that was police brutality. That was police violence because I didn't even allow them to come in. They came in. They knocked, we opened the door, they just came in. It was police brutality for police officers to harass me, handcuff me, throw my phone away when I was trying to get inside my car. This moment, these officers led with compassion. I've not talked about this so often, but I feel like this is the space for me to talk about it. Despite the experiences that I've had with the stories you've had, there was this experience. For me, I refer to this as hope, you know? And kudos to those officers. I don't know their names. I don't remember their names. Maybe I don't even have to. They did their job, and they did lead with compassion and intentionality. Now, let me take you to community. Let me take you to community. In 2018, there was a protest here in Edmonton to uninvite police and military to march in pride because of the injustices, the institution itself. As you've seen those of, as the examples I've shown you, are those people really deserve to be marching, representing an institution that has constantly violated and criminalized our people, call us criminals before they even know who we are. We fit descriptions before they know our names. So a call to uninvite them into Pride was rejected by the Edmonton Pride Festival. And they said they can't, even though we had these ongoing meetings, year after year, month after month, that led to organizing Pride Festival. They didn't. So we did protest to uninvite police and uniformed police to march in Pride. Well, we know that there are police officers who identify as 2S LGBTQ. No one is stopping those officers to come in Pride. Don't show up representing an institution that has continuously violated us, carded us, came in our home, arrested us, twisted our hands in Pride Festival before they hold themselves accountable.
Once again Sunday, the streets of Edmonton were turned into a platform as dozens marched in support of Black trans lives. It comes 3 weeks after thousands of Edmontonians band together to address the issue of racism and police brutality. While this event highlighted similar calls for change, there was more to it.
Trans folk of color
are standing up today to say that we matter, that trans lives matter, Black trans lives matter.
Among the crowd, Rhiannon Levesque, a Black trans female hoping for change.
I just wish people could be able to see us a bit more and see us as like people, you know?
She is just one of many pushing for equality.
Firstly, I hope there's more visibility, and I hope that there's more of an understanding.
Black trans people specifically face a lot of intersecting forms of violence and oppression, and that it's really important to come out and stand up for them.
Many in the group say they faced racism, homophobia, and police brutality in Edmonton.
We need people to understand that we're human beings like anybody else, and we deserve to be respected, and we demand to be protected.
The support for trans lives, and in particular Black trans life, should extend beyond trans people. Allies have created this. Allies are where the work should be.
Organizers say that more needs to be done. But
Yeah, before I move forward, I would like us to, take a moment from hearing the wisdom and knowledge and the voice of Dr. Michael Marshall. If you can take a moment to, remember his soul and his work and his legacy to our community. May his soul rest in peace. So I did take some screenshots about the news article. I want to, I didn't show, but the people you've seen that you're going to continue to see, the call for justice for Black trans lives in Edmonton. This rally was attended, more than 1,000 people attended this rally. But when the news articles came out, they said 150 people attended this Black Trans Lives Matter rally. It's a question for you. I guess I'm inviting you also to bring in those intersections of media. What media talks about trans lives? What media talks about Black Lives Matter movement? What media is talking about Black Trans Lives Matter movements? This was in 2020, right here in Edmonton. Now, this slide specifically, I'm not a threat. I'm not a threat. Me being a trans person or trans people existing as them or folks, racialized people should never be, seen as threats. I did share this part of, because it was during this time that I screenshotted this and kept it. When I was going through what I should talk about or present, was Martin Smith said, "This is the freedom I am looking for, the freedom of moving freely without anything on my chest. The day I'll get that freedom, the plastic smile and I'm having always will go away and become the real me." Bro, Chris Katiiti. Nkwegomba, meaning I admire you. And it's like, I wish I had the freedom you have. Edembe eyo. Edembe yo, that is, the freedom, the peace I have. Without being questioned if I am a man or a woman. Yes. That really stuck with me. It made me realize the privilege I was having. The fact that I went to that Black Lives Matter that was attended by thousands and 10,000s and 10,000s of people. I was, as you see this photo, and showed up as my authentic trans self. Didn't care who was watching me. I was showing up for me. But that speaks volume. This person is in Uganda, and they were able to see that. So sometimes you being a beacon of hope for people who continue to face police brutality and violence. You don't know how many people you impact by the work you do, by the human right work you do, or the work you're doing in your community. Kudos to John Humphrey for putting this off, for sure. You might not know the impact, but we feel it where we are. So thank you once again. So that legal, we had demands, you know, these are still the same photos from Black Trans Lives Matter. We did have demands, sensitivity trainings being mandatory, you know, support for refugee claimants, and actively opposing that Bill 1 that was introduced by the government by that time, defunding the police and redirecting funds into communities, with a portion of funds directly supporting QT BIPOC communities. That is part of reparation, by the way, as we be taking into that.
The turnout's really good. Like when we sent out invites, we had no idea how many people. We couldn't see numbers, so we were just hoping people showed up. People showed up, and it's been super chill. It's great. This is the first one I've done where I've actually walked through, like the city. Love it. It's great. Like people stop, can't move. You have to listen to us for a second. That's great. Best case scenario, we see some funds like redistributed somewhere, hopefully outside of CPS. We want about 60% of their budget cut. I'll take 16 every year for 5 years.
So I don't think that they need any more money. Money equals power, and as we can see, the police have been abusing their power. So all we want to do is defund. Y'all don't need all those millions of dollars and billions of dollars to keep this city safe.
The next best thing to do to help is, talk to people. Don't expect Black folks to do the work for you, because that's not our job. We're looking for allies who can push our message and help change things. And that's pretty much all.
So that is a rally in Calgary. Black Trans Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter rally in Calgary in partnership with Ido Normal, Black Lives Matter chapter, and so many other communities that came together. Defund Police Calgary, Defund YYCC, and yes, I would draw your attention to the tweet from Minister Honorable Madu Kesi, who was the Justice Minister in 2020. We must, Honorable Kesi said, we must strengthen our law enforcement and make reforms where needed, not defund the police or defame those who bear enormous risk to keep our people and communities safe. While there is so much truth in the statement Honorable Kedu tweeted in response to the protests, there was no lack of accountability, and also the fact that the communities had a voice, had defund police, invite us, let's have conversations. There is so much that this court also not speak to his tweet, especially based on the experiences that the communities continuously face. Let's keep going. I did this quote during the Calgary rally. Before we are trans, we are Black. Before we are Black, before we are both of those things, we are humans, like anybody else. Before even police existed, We existed. We are humankind, you know. Before I'm anything, I'm any of the labels that society does. We just literally talked about the, cis-normative, previous conversation that led to this, before that exists. But I could echo, I could hear my trans relatives talk about humanity. We are humans. We are humans, before I'm judged or arrested or face racism, racial profiling based on the color of my skin. I'm a human being like you. It's just you have more power or more guns than I do. You get what I'm saying? But I am a human being. Before you, misgender me or face transphobic remarks, I am a human being. I have existed before the institution of police existed. Humanity has been here before any organization or corporation that violates, harassed, and use excessive force have been in place. So having that in mind as well. Enjoy the video. It was done in 2020, Stonewall, Canada. Not only enjoying, but get the message, the words.
Use your voice, you're going to use whatever you have. The flag is going to be ahead of us.
Police, the systems of oppression are lucky that what we are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Yes, in that video, there are some words that say, use your voice. Use whatever you have. Once again, after the passing of the police brutality and the killing of George Floyd in 2020, it was the same time Tony McD, a black trans man, was murdered by police. The world, really, some of them don't even know about Tony McD. The media never portrayed Tony's story. It leaves as a question, was Tony's life not important? Was the world not, ready to listen or hear that Tony was also murdered by the police the same way George Floyd was murdered? So this shows you the disproportionate of how we are highly impacted as trans individuals. How even our death, even how police, police or any institution at our deathbed, people continue to misgender us. News continue to misgender us. Police continue to even violate those that are our bodies. So that being said, I invite you to lengthen your, your awareness when it comes to trans issues, when it comes to police brutality and the human rights. Allow yourself to, learn and learn. Reparations. In terms of reparations, certain things we do need reparations. Reparations is to the trans community might look like monetary compensation to the Black trans folks, as well as sometimes reparation can take forms beyond just monetary compensations. So for those who, have been just pushing this word under the rug or just bypassing it, I invite you to take a moment and, sit with it. Because it's also a key to, healing our communities. Reparation can sometimes, take other forms beyond monetary compensations, such as apologies, reforms, trans inclusivity, and advisory, truth and reconciliation. And then the approach to reparation for trans communities directly, not solely to the victim, but to the entire trans community. So if police system or the justice system, the police system wants to pay reparation for the trans community or to Adebayo, no. You're going to have to pay that to the entire transgender community. Because when Adebayo is arrested, the community is arrested. When I'm handcuffed, every Black trans person, every trans person is handcuffed. When I'm silenced, every trans person is silenced. When Aisha shared that story, when Aisha is arrested and taken to the remand center, to the male remand center, we are all taken there. We are all taken there. What happens to one happens to us all. Nobody is free until all of us are free. So if you're paying reparations for police institutions, if they're paying reparations, you're going to pay to the entire transgender community. Because historically, they've tried to erase our entire existence, that we do not matter. But we're here. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. Let us talk reparations, but before we talk reparations, do you even know why we're talking about reparations? Let us talk reparations and start by recognizing the extraordinary harms of the criminal justice system towards Black trans bodies. I mean trans bodies, whereby our bodies are being undressed. Our bodies are being undressed by police to check if we are male or women. Our bodies are being pushed, handcuffed, all right. Yes. Woo. Yes. So police violence causes lasting psychological harm to victims. Even calling 911 can result into trauma and anxiety. So the lasting harm, the lasting psychological and mental harm. Sometimes, you know what, I could hear police car, and I freeze. I start shaking right away, Sometimes, if I haven't done some work there, and some people don't have the capacity to do the work. Some people heal differently. But that causes harm, long lasting, which can make us not even be able to wake up and function like any other person. And then they say we bring that to ourselves. Really? Anyway, trans women being locked up in men remand centers. We just had Aisha share her story. Being misgendered, no access to their medicine. And this is here in Edmonton. We are not talking about USA. We are not talking about Toronto. Yes, the situations might be the same, but these happened here, right here in Edmonton, in our city. Accountability. I want to invite you all to go check on the story of Adora. Adora is the president of Black Lives Matter Calgary chapter, but is facing police violence, brutality. Tyler the founder, co-founder of Inclusive Canada, has been served 30 days. My people, open your eyes. Right here in Calgary, we had police murder one of our own. You get what I'm saying? That is police brutality. That is I take you back to the question, is police brutality a human right issue or not? Now, how are you going to pay reparation to Adora and Tyra? You need to be in their inboxes right now. Check in with them because they have done work for our communities. Activism work, advocacy work. And that work has already, served them. This is how that work has served them, by being in the hands of the criminal justice system, police systems, and paying the price of speaking up, paying the price of speaking truth to power. We are talking about reparations. Let us start with our own. Let us start with our own. Let us start with Adora. Let us start with Taylor. Let us start with Aisha. As individuals, we also have, we are accountable. When it comes to reparation, we are also accountable, Let's continue. Yes, reparations. The demand to defund police and push to reallocate resources. And let's reallocate resources to communities, Cutie Park communities, right? We're having our communities starving to death, while institutions that continue to violate and not be accountable continue to be funded with billions and billions of dollars of who? Taxpayers' money. Reparation schemes have the potential to recognize and attempt to remedy the widespread harm that police brutality often creates. Yes, believe it or not, that's true. So acknowledge and repair the causes and the consequences of human rights violation. Reparation, yes, it acknowledges, and yes, it has their consequences and it can repair. Reparation should be included conversation as a useful framework to recognize and implement meaningful response to transphobia and abuses and approach practices that create harm. Yes, we cannot be outside those tables that create framework, that implement, responses without our voices, without Black trans voices, without Black Lives voices, without those voices, without Indigenous voices. There is no way you can create that framework to be useful for us when we did not take part of it, because these are our lives. We know very well the history of these institutions. We continue to exist, but we have to be a part of that. Invite trans people to be a part of the framework. Those policies that you're building, you have to ask for our input and pay us well. We know we have the answers. We have the answers. We are the solutions. We are the solutions. Trans people, marginalized communities, they are the solutions. Looking for solutions, we are. Because we are still here, eh? And people wonder how we continue every day to continue live and show up with joy, with authenticity, with our African, vibrations, and despite the things we go through. I guarantee you never find solution anywhere that will work for us except within us. Yes. As I come to conclusion and open up for questions, the connection, what is your connection with police brutality and the Declaration of Human Rights? A question for you listeners. Police brutality is distrust. Police brutality need to be deleted permanently. It should be isolated. It should be starved to death. The Declarations of Human Rights condemns police brutality. At what extent have we held our Edmonton police services accountable? The harm they continue to cause. Be the change you want to see. Stand up and fight for justice. Be the change you want to see. Be the voice for the voiceless. Hear me out. When I say you're the change you want to see, you're the change you badly need. You're the change for the generation tomorrow. And the unknown is looking up for you. I am open to questions. If folks have questions, feel free to shake it off a little bit, just like this, where you are, where you're watching from. Yes, it's heavy. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. And I'm open. If folks have questions for me, now is the time. Yeah, I know I still have, I still have some time. This is where I'm opening up for you. If you have a particular question or any input, what does reparation look to you? Still processing, yeah. What is reparation to you? What do you understand by reparation? How can we all, as a community, collectively hold police accountable and delete police brutality and starve police brutality and pay reparations to victims of police violence? Yes, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. I see a question in the chat from Gloria. Do you think implementing comprehensive training programs that emphasize de-escalation, diversity awareness, and respect for human rights can help mitigate incidences of police brutality? Gloria, is that my question or a question to everybody in the room? I feel like it should be a question to everybody in the room, Yes, I think I'll answer it. Yes, thank you, Gloria. I think abolishment is part of reparation for me. I agree with you 100%, point 1,000, 10/10 minus nothing. But a lot of people, including people in queer and trans communities, are not always open to conversation about law enforcement abolishment. I agree. It's difficult to know where to start with people who don't want to have those conversations. Wow. That's deep, and you are just boom, nailing it down, because it's so real when it comes to queer communities. And also, like, I guess from a perspective of like someone who I've had similar conversations with communities, and some literally not wanting to talk to me, especially when the conversation turns around and goes into police brutality. They're like, can we move on? Can we move on? So that being said, this doesn't though take away the reality. Police might be helping and serving well, especially white folks, white trans, white queer folks might be at some point, not at the level of intersection where black trans, indigenous, cutie BIPOC folks, the treatment is different when it comes to the hands of the police. So at some point, I'm thinking that, these conversations have to be had. Despite our communities not wanting to be open to have these conversations, I nowadays, if I need to have a conversation with my people, and it is an important conversations, if they're like, I can't have this conversation, I ask why. May I know? Are you just not ready? Are you not feeling okay? Or it's just the conversation? So I know why you don't want to have this conversation. What is there that hindering you from openly talking about the injustices, the oppression that our communities continue to face? Because I guarantee you, I am with you. Abolish police is part of that. But also, it gives me, it takes me back to Gloria. Your question, if I think implementing comprehensive training programs, that yes, because I'm also aware where police is not going to, go away tomorrow because I've done my presentation and the police is going to shut down. No. So in any way that we can do our part, let's do our part. Yes, so implementing training programs, but who is offering these programs? Radical Now, John Humphrey, other organization, Migrate Alberta, to provide these specific trainings of escalation. Like our communities have the solutions, like I say, have this knowledge, diverse awareness. I think it is fundamental, and I think it leads to, a greater good. I believe so, Gloria. No, no worries, no worries. Yeah, I love the comments too, I love the comments too as well. Agreed. I still think abolishment is the way to go, but also understand the reality and the need for training from the communities that police brutality harms. That's so true, like sharing our experiences, having the opportunity to tell our stories, by ourselves, learn from those stories, learn from that, right? But it will not be free of charge, especially when it comes to police. So yeah, maybe you can talk to Gloria, but me, I can't offer, training. I can draft something, I can contribute, but I can't stand in front of police officers and start training them. I think that's my window of tolerance doesn't allow me to go there. But I do have community members. We have community members who are willing to facilitate these trainings. That's the other thing I think, for folks who are, who have a phobia for police, for folks who still are working on, establishing relationships, safety and trust with police institutions, you don't have to be in contact with them. You can always have other community members who feel capable and have the capacity to have those conversations to do. You can contribute however you wish behind bars, at your level, at the level of safety. So other folks who have that, capacity and capability to deliver these trainings, they are there. We do. Actually, Gloria is talking to me about it, right? And drafting something. So that being said, there are some of us who don't want to, be in a space with 100 cops training. Me, no, right? So I'll leave that for others who have that capacity to do that. Yes. Many training can pave the way for conversations about abolishment. I agree. The effective, effective trainings and intentional trainings, also trainings on, how to, deal with trans folks. Trans folks go through so many things. And one of it, police brutality. Police brutality has taken so many of our siblings. November 20th was Trans Day of Remembrance, but we had over 300 trans folks gone because of transphobia, police violence, rejection. So every year, the number continues. This makes me even wonder if, because I'm trans, I'm Black, I'm no differ with the names, my trans siblings that I was reading on November 20th. Anything can happen to me or to anybody. But how are we as a collective really inviting and start working on reparations? Change, change, be the change you want to see. Yeah, any further questions or comment, please share. Yes, as you share this song I did write, I'm gonna, I feel like it's a moment for it, this land is your land, indigenous land. Call me to the table, I'm a fortunate son. Beautiful melanin, son of the soul, call me source of vitamin. Decide the coffee action, I'm not different, if you know what I mean. We are one, no matter where you're from. Fan wide, Lego division. This a paradise to all humanity. Same blood, feel cup, same one. Give me that right hand, raise flag. Baby, let me see them voicing now. Tears are flowing. In the hatred is known about a color mastering. Land is your land. Indigenous land.
dance long.
Call me to the
Call me
table.
to the table. I'm a fortune and
Beautiful
son.
Melanin,
Beautiful Melanin,
son of this
so come so vitamin.
vitamin.
This are the coffee action. I'm not different if you know what I mean.
We are one,
We
no
are
matter
one,
where
no
from.
matter where
And
from.
wide,
Fun
Lego
wide,
division.
Lego division. It's a paradise to all humanity. Some blood, fill cup, serve one. Give me that right hand, left hand. Baby, let's hear them voicing now. Some blood, fill cup, serve one. Give me that right hand, red flag. Baby, let me see that. Mothers and daughters, tears are flowing. And the hatred is not about a color masculine. Strong woman, fix your crown, strong women. Get out the system. Let's write a better future for. One time, let me see them at the air. Let me say a little prayer. Some blood, fill cup, some one. Give me that right hand, restaurant. Baby, let me see the blood. Some blood, fill cup, some one. Give me that right hand, restaurant. Baby, let me see the blood. So yeah, future generation. This is the fact, this is the violations, sons and daughters, incarceration, game of chess for the politicians, unreal about election. Mothers and daughters, tears are flowing. And the hatred is not about a color on my skin. Strong woman, fix your crown, trans women. Get out the system. Let's write a future fast for. Black woman, fix your crown, strong woman. Get out the system. Let's write a future fast for. Black woman, fix your crown, trans women. Get out the system. Let's write a better future for. One time, let me see them hands in here. Yeah. Let me hear you say a little prayer. It's your boy Katiiti. Boy Katiiti. Boyaka. Tell them what I say. Yo, this is serious, and I just want you all to listen. You hear me? Listen. It's getting better. 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 This is a quote to those who care. Listen to the praise up in the air. Lots of work. Do your share. Then you can throw your hands in the air. This is a quote to those who care. Listen to the praise up in the air. Lots of work. Do your share. Then you can throw your hands in the air. Hug someone. Share their fears. Music or mental health care. Create some space for those who care. If you have enough, make sure you share. Hug someone. Share their fears. Music or mental health care. Create some space for those who care. If you have enough, make sure you share. It's getting better. 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 Resources are speaking, guys, prices are high. One man go, two man just behind. For trans and women, you don't care why.
That's the reason people just they die. Resources are swinging as prices are high. One man go do man just behind. For trans and women, you know they are why. That's the reason people just they die. This is the time we celebrate. We still they hear and they calculate. You can't tell me you no relate. What's all this? What's all the head? These are the time we celebrate. We still they hear and they calculate. You can't tell me you no relate. What's all this? What's all the head? It's getting better. 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 Stand up and fight for justice. Say be our voice for the voiceless. Don't stay silent, your life is priceless. Hear me out when I say you that genuine as stand up and fight for justice. Be our voice for the voiceless. I say don't stay silent, your life is priceless. Hear me out when I say you that change you wanna see. Be the change and use your voice and speak up now. Be the change. Be the change. Be the change and use your voice and speak up now. Yeah. Shout out to our activists who continue doing this amazing work. It's your boy Katiiti. Many will define you. Many will define you by your past and the idea of what they think you should be. They'll rescue your growth by backbiting, negativity, doubt, and maybe who you'll be tomorrow. You're simply their growth and your growth is not stopping. It's your time, baby. I'm so proud of you. And if you're proud of yourself, I want you to tap your chest and say, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the journey. And you are still here. Yeah. Sing with me. I'm still here. You're still here. Tell them that you're still here. You're still here. You're still here. You're still here, baby. You're still here. Jari unze atesigenda. Jari unze atesigenda. Yone mukama yabimani. Jari unze atesigenda.
Yeah, when I'm so far away, I wanna get pregnant.
Yeah, you're still here, baby.
I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant.
Drop them down, take your piece. Drop them down, that give by right. Drop them down, that give by right. Put your phone down, baby. Put your phone down. Put your phone down, baby. Put your phone down. Put your phone down. Say a little prayer. Take a walk now, baby. You deserve it. You deserve this, baby. Be proud of. You deserve it. Say a little prayer. Put your phone down, baby. Put your phone down. Put your phone down, baby. Put your phone down. It's your time to shine. Yeah. I can no longer ignore my path. I can no longer ignore how I feel. I can no longer ignore my past. And if I sense I shift in my energy around your sin, not because I don't feel you, not because I don't feel, but because my peace and my fast intuition and having the self-discipline to listen to the vibration of my body is my number one priority. Is my number one priority. Yeah. Still here.
You're still here. You're still here to them that you're still here. Jari unze atesigenda. Jari unze atesigenda. Nebyanye mukama yabimani. Jari unze atesigenda. Yo,
Yeah, I'm a long way.
It's your time to be proud of the progress you have made, of the people you have met. Give gratitude, give thanks. Yeah. It's your boy I flow like water, I'm bonded like rocks. I plant my seeds, I don't need a breathe. Sometimes I can swim, I walk the talk, and fly in the air like a bird over you. Yeah, like a bird over you. Yeah. You can talk and talk and talk. I'll work and work and work. You can talk and talk and talk. I'll work and work and work. Yeah, I'm still here. Woo! Wow. Thank you. Thank you. If anyone needs to contact me, that's my email. Yeah, really. Thank you so much for, for this opportunity to share. Yeah. God bless. Mark, God bless. Big up to everybody. I really, want to appreciate you who have been in space with me. Thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your interaction. It did make the presentation, it made me feel at ease. First time doing this, I don't know how it was gonna land. So I really appreciate you all, your contribution and holding space. Thank you so much. Once again, yeah, thank you. Thank you. I was nervous, to be honest. Yes. Thank you, John Humphrey, and thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you all for coming up on here and vibing with me. I'll maybe hand it over to you, Gloria. Gloria.
Thank you, Adebayo. Thank you so much for taking us through and reminding us about the commitments of the Universal Declaration. Just looking at the progress that has been made, the gaps that are still there, and how best we can intervene in the situation. Thank you so much. Thank you for the entire team that have supported the session. Thank you to the audience. Thank you to John Humphrey for bringing us together, for having the platform for us to just have these conversations and see how we move forward. Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate all of you. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and we are looking forward to seeing you again in the next session of Radical Joy. Thank you so much.